Hello remoters, how are you? Mr. Lopazzo here with another drawing video for you. Today we're going to draw. It's a shark. Can you tell what kind of shark it is? Yes, it's a hammerhead shark. You can see he's got this big hammer on his head. He's a mean looking hammerhead shark too. You can see we're going to draw him. So his tail is splashing the water. He's like at the surface, which means he's ready to make some trouble. And we've got the water splashing there in the background. We're going to draw a big old hammerhead shark. You are going to need a piece of paper. You're going to need a pencil. And you're going to need an eraser. We're going to turn our paper horizontal, right? We're going to turn it sideways because our shark is longer than he is tall. You're going to want to draw lightly because even if you don't make any mistakes with the drawing, you're still going to need to erase some of your pencil lines. Because we've got some things we're going to draw. We're going to start with shapes. It's a good way to draw something that you're not very good at drawing. You just kind of look at it and you say, okay, what shape is that? So what shape is the body? What shape is the head? What shape is the tail, the fin, whatever you're making? So I'm going to draw my shark body first, and I'm going to need to erase some parts of it once I start adding other things to it. And it's sort of going to be kind of shaped like a long football, kind of with a tail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right about over here. So here's the middle of my paper. If I go sideways almost to the side and then come down just a little bit, that's about where I'm going to start. So I am going to make a line. You're going to want to make your line lightly. I can't because you won't be able to see it if I do. And you're going to make a line that kind of goes up and then whoop, up a little, over a little, and then curls up a little. So I kind of started down in this corner, and I'm ending up, going toward the top corner of my paper anyway. Now over here, I'm not going to start by touching that line. I'm just going to be a little bit under it. And this line is going to go over and then up. Over, up, and then I'm going to go meet that one. So that's why I kind of look like a football with a tail. Actually, you know what it looks? It kind of looks like an eye. With like, now people put that black eyeliner. I forgot what they call that, like a cat eye or something. It goes. So open on this end, pointy on that end, wide in the middle, and that side just kind of curls up like it's going. That's going to be our tail. That's going up to the top. So draw this lightly because as we start adding our parts to it, you might say, I want to make my shark thinner, I want to make my shark thicker, whatever you want to do. And you'll be able to fix it however you want. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make the hammerhead of my hammerhead shark. Well, the hammer's kind of like a big rectangle, but it is curved a little bit. It's curved a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just a little bit outside of my two lines, right about there. And I'm going to make a big curved line, kind of a little bit outside of my football with a tail. It's not really straight up and down. It's tipped a little bit, and it's got a little bit of a curve, a little bit on that side of my football, a little bit on that side. And you've got a little bit of space between there. Now I'm going to make a line that curves in a little bit, like that, over a little, and then I'm going to curve down until I touch my football. As always, pause it, rewind it. I know I'm going a little bit quick, but that's just to make the videos a little bit shorter, that's all. But you can spend as much time on the video as you want. Down here, I'm going to make this part of my hammer a little bit bigger. And I'm going to do that because it's a little closer to me. When things get closer to us, they look bigger. Look at this giant hand of mine. And look at this little baby hand. They're the same hands. They're the same size. They're not the same hands. They're the same size. This one's closer. This one's far away. So this hammer is going to be a little bit bigger. Just a little. And that one curved up around a little bit. This one's going to curve down a little bit. And I'm going to come up around here, and I'm going to make like the football. That's going to be his eye. And my football's kind of pointed up toward the tail. See how it's leaning a little bit? This top of my shark hammerhead is leaning up, and my eye is leaning up. They both should be pointed up just a little bit. Just a little. And I'm going to put an eyelid right in there. And then I'm going to draw a big half a circle. And I'm going to draw a smaller half a circle. Whenever you can only see part of the pupil or half of it, it makes him look meaner, like his eyebrows are low. And I'm going to leave a little tiny circle inside my circle. And I'm going to leave that white so when I color it in, I get a nice shiny reflection in there. Makes the eye look shinier. Can you see that little reflection? You can actually make the reflection bigger if you want. Ooh, that looks even better. Makes him look mean. And I have to finish off my hammer because I have a piece over here. So I'm going to draw it on this side too. So there's my hammerhead. See that? He looks mean. He looks like a big hammerhead tadpole at the moment. But we got to fix that. Definitely. So I'm going to slide up a little bit and I'm going to make one of his fins. We can only see one of them because the other one's on the other side, but we can't see it. If we can't see it, we don't draw it. So from inside the body, I'm going to go down and back. When we did our whale, we did the same thing on the side of our whale. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go down and curve back until I meet the other one. I'm not going to make it really pointy. Kind of like just a little bit rounded on the end. And I'm just going to put a teeny tiny little line inside just to make it look like it's part of the body. And of course we need to erase this line because we cannot see through the fin, which means we can't see his belly in that one spot. Okay? Now he's a fish, of course, so he needs gills so he can breathe underwater. So we're going to come right in front of our fin, and I'm going to make 4 lines slightly curved. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make them a little bigger as you go if you want. You can experiment with different kinds of gills if you want. I've seen some people make the gills where they go over, down like that. So you can do that too if you want. They don't have to be curved. Okay? Now he's a shark, so he needs a dorsal fin. And right above that, it's going to be a little bit bigger than my fin on the side. And once again, we're not going to just start in the top. We're going to have it go inside so it looks like it's growing out of his body, which it is. So it goes up and curves back. And then this one is going to curve in a little bit. A fin should always be wider at the bottom where it connects to the body and a little bit pointier at the top. But we definitely want that little bit of that curve. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a little line right there. And of course I have to erase the part of the body. He's getting meaner looking. He's getting meaner looking. Now, we're going to do the tail that's splashing. So, our fin, our tail, kind of came right up to that point. Hopefully you have a little bit of paper left up there. If you don't, you might have to lower your shark a bit. I think I'm barely going to be able to fit my tail up there. But we'll see. We're going to try it. So see this curve right here? That's really important. I'm going to just continue that curve. And I'm going to just curve around from here all the way up to like right there. It's going to be kind of sort of like a backwards letter C. So I'm going to continue this point up and around. I wish I had a little bit more paper up there. I would actually make my tail bigger, but I ran out of room. So I'm going to use what I got. Okay? Now right below that, if I go right below that all the way down to my shark body, right here I'm going to start at the body and I'm going to curve in and then curve back out. That's part of his tail too. That's kind of like a baby letter, backwards letter C. And you can see they both kind of have like the same curve to them. Obviously that one's much bigger, goes much higher, but that one's sort of the same curve, it's just smaller. They both kind of end up in the same place. One is right above the other. Okay? And now I'm going to go down a little bit. That's the end of his tail. And then I'm going to come in, curve in, and then curve right back out and connect to my little line right there. Now, we can leave this line right here. I'm going to erase just a little of it. I don't know if I can make a skinny line. I'm going to see if I can make a very skinny line with my marker. Whoops. So I don't really want to make that line really thick where it goes from his body to his tail. Kind of want to make it like really thin. There is a line there, but we don't want to see like a lot of it. Okay. Now the only thing we have left to do, he has a couple little, I'm going to call them fins, but he has kind of like a little tiny rectangular one right over here just before the tail. Kind of slants up, over, and slants back in. And he's got kind of like a little triangle one down here. So a little rectangle fin on the top and a little triangle on the bottom. Just small little details, but it makes it look a little more interesting. Now what we did, we color it with crayon. So if you want to outline it with a Sharpie, you certainly can. Especially, you're going to want to outline your gills and your eyelid and maybe this line here. I mean, you could outline the whole thing. That way, when you color it in with crayons, you can still see some of your lines. Because if it's just pencil and you color it in, you're going to lose a lot of your details, going to disappear. Crayon's going to cover your pencil and be gone forever. So outline it with whatever you have, and then we're going to color him in. You can use a silver crayon, you can use a gray crayon, you can kind of mix like gray and blue. This example I have over here was mixed with blue and gray. I think you can see that if I hold it right. See that? They made the pupil black, which I did too, and they made a red eye. I don't know if sharks have red eyes. I don't think they do, but you can kind of make it whatever color you want. Or you could just make that whole big circle black. That's up to you. If you have watercolors, it might work well in the background. After all, it is water. It's the ocean. If not, well, I don't know if you want to use marker. That might take you forever. So whatever you're going to do in the background, if you have watercolors, great. We're going to do, we want to have him like just barely under the water. So your ocean could be very, very wavy. So somewhere right around there, we'll kind of have him like just maybe peeking out of the water. And then because his tail is flying out of the water, there's going to be some splashing going on. So probably close to the tail, you're going to want to make the water like really rough, really wiggly. And then you can even do some droplets of water flying out. So we can have like some, whoops. Some big drops of water. They're kind of like just shaped like a raindrop. Kind of like that. And we'll just kind of have some splashing on the tail. That looks kind of cool. And if you want to add little fishies down here or a sea bottom or whatever you want to do, totally up to you. It can be just an empty ocean. You can have a whole bunch of stuff going on in there. So remember day one, right? First day. Today we'll draw it out. And then a week later at your next art class, you can color it in. And you can watercolor the whole thing if you want. You can watercolor the shark and the water. Or crayon works good with watercolor because if you get a little bit of water on your shark, it wipes right off of the crayon because the crayon is wax. Some people will watercolor right over top of the shark. That way a little bit of the blue sticks to the crayon and it will look like he's underwater. The example I had, I believe they watercolored around the shark. But you can actually go right over top of him and then he'll look like he's submerged, which he is. So maybe this part has some blue watercolor on it and maybe the tail, because it's out of the water, doesn't. That might be an interesting look. So experiment, give it a shot. Remember, when you are done with your drawing, make sure you send it to me in Seesaw, and I promise I will make a comment and get back to you, tell you how amazing your shark is. Okay? And that's it. Another drawing. Down to tubes. I miss you guys. We will see you soon. Bye.